Hey, kiddos. Um, I don't know if you know this, but Google Docs just launched a few weeks ago something that will be really helpful to you once you start working on research projects. And that's their citation tool. I know we've been telling you that no citation tool can substitute for your knowledge of the MLA format. And that's still true because you do have to know how to edit if it makes any mistakes. But I've been testing it and it is a pretty good tool for you guys. So we're going to go over it with some detail. So brace yourselves. This is about to be a little long. So where is that tool, right? First thing, if you go into tools, one of the options now is citations. When you click on that, that opens up this side um, page, block, whatever you want to call it. And you can see that I already have some in there. Those are some of my tests from earlier. And they'll be good for you to see what it looks like once you have quite a few added in there. So for the most part, you're going to use MLA. They have updated to the last version, which is MLA 8, so you don't have to worry about that. So let's say you used a book for your research, or you're writing an essay for English and you need to make sure that you include the literary work that you used. So what you're going to do is you're going to add a citation source. You're going to pick the source type. Here's where it gets not tricky, but this is where you need to pay attention. You can see that there's no play option. There's no encyclopedia option. There's no dictionary option. So you have to figure out where your book falls in these categories, right? So you've got book. Book will cover a lot. It could be a novel. It could be a book, a nonfiction book about a topic. For the most part, it's going to be something that has one author or just two authors, but they wrote the whole thing. It's the simplest version, right? So we're going to do one of those just to show you. You click on book, accessed by. It can be a print book. It can be a website version of that book or online database. We're going to ignore that for now, and I'll tell you why in a second. So we're going to do print. And here are where they say recommended fields. That doesn't mean it's a mandatory field. It will let you finish it without adding those elements. But those are the elements that you mostly need. So make sure that you pay attention to that. So first name, I got an example here. So Nancy, last name, Peterson. Then the next option is the title of the book, and what she wrote was Toni Morrison. Critical. Oh, the S didn't go through. Critical. And then you've got your publisher, which is Johns Hopkins, UP, and then the published year is 1997. So for a simple book, that's all I need. So I just click on Add Citation Source, and that's it. My citation source gets added here, and I can use it later if I need it. So now I'm going to try to do something that's not in the options here to show you what you would have to look for. So let's say you used an encyclopedia, right? That's a common source that you use here in the library all the time. So we're going to add an MLA citation source. I'm going to add a book section. And here's why. When you use an encyclopedia, you're usually using just either an article or a chapter. Either way, it's not the whole book, it's a book section. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to put print. And here is where you've got some options, right? If you have an encyclopedia that has an author for the section that you're reading, you just pick section author. If you have an encyclopedia that doesn't have an author, but it does have an editor, you can pick the book editor. So we're going to do one that has no author, right? We're not going to put a section author or a book editor. We're not going to put anything. So I'm just going to leave this blank because it's going to be one of those encyclopedias without an author. Then the section title would be the article that you read. So the example that I have here is, oh, I don't actually see how I get so used to doing this that I added the quotes. So that's my section title. Then the book title is the name of the encyclopedia. So Encyclopedia of World Biography. We've got our publisher, which is Gale, and this one was published in 1998. So see that it says that Pages is a recommended field for you to fill out, but as you know, if you have your example MLA next to you, you don't need that for an encyclopedia. So you can leave that blank and just go ahead and add that citation source. And we're going to see those citations once I insert this bibliography here. But I want to give you one more example. So let's say you are doing an internet image, right? So something that you took to put on a Google slide and you need to cite it. So we're going to add a citation source. It is a website, access by website, that's the only option. And here's where you kind of have to figure out what you're trying to say, right? You have author. Do you have an author for an image? You might have the name of the photographer. You could add that here. But for the most part, you don't have an author for an image. So you skip that. Title. What is this title? It's either the caption of the image, the name of the image, the description, whatever you're going to call it that will get people to recognize this citation is referring back to that image. So for this one, I have a Hubble telescope. So the website title, what is that? It is the name of the website where this image came from, which means that if you got it from Google Images, that's not it. That is not Google Images. It came from a different website. You have to click on that image and figure out what website Google pulled it from. So in this case, it is a very, very long name. So we're just going to keep on going. Fascinating facts about the Hubble Space Telescope. Okay. The next step would be a publisher. And you see here that they don't put it as a recommended because not all websites have a publisher, but most of them do. So you're going to try to find that little C symbol with the circle around it, and that's your copyright owner. That's what we call a publisher for online sources. So in this case, it's A&E, Vision. And here comes the website details, right? You have the URL, which I'm going to shorten this just for example's sake, but it would be HTTP, www. In this case, it came from history.com, and it has a whole bunch of stuff after that, but I'm not going to add that to keep us from being here forever. Published day, that means what day this particular thing was published. Again, for a picture, you might not know. You leave that blank. Published month, again, you might not know. Published year, hopefully you've got that at least. In this case, it's 2016. And then this, you have to have it. You have to have the day you access that information. So for today, it's 9th, 10th, or actually October 2020. And this is where we're going to stop for our website image, right? And add that citation source. So this is going to live in your file, right? It's nowhere in your actual text. It's just living there as a resource for you to use. So let's say you are working on an essay and you have a quote inside that essay that you have to cite. You're going to go here and you're going to find where you're citing that particular quote, right? Like I took it from the article on ancient Rome. So I'm going to cite it. You write down the quote, and now I'm just going to add nothing here. And then, okay, in-text citation, what do? I click on cite. And you see right here, it does say replace the pound symbol or the hashtag with page numbers. So go ahead and add the page number here, and that will be your in-text citation. You finished your essay, you finished your research paper, you're all good. All you need is your works cited page. What do? Well, once you have all this information right here saved, you can click this magical button right here, insert bibliography, which is nothing more than another word for works cited, and you insert it. Because we at Walnut Hills call this works cited, you're going to change this. But you can tell right here that all of these, and this was a misspelling on my part earlier, you can tell that all of these are in the alphabetical order that they need to be in. They have the indentation that they need to have. And believe me, I've gone through the ones that I already had here, and they got pretty much everything correct. They got the right punctuation marks. They got the right italicizing of the titles. So this is very, very good, probably much better than any other website that you're using to do your citation, and that ends up getting fixed by us when you guys come talk to us. So you can trust this. I'm going to say, 90%. Always check, because algorithms are never as good as your own brain. But, this is a pretty cool resource that's going to help you a lot. You just have to make sure that you understand what this is supposed to look like, what you're looking for in terms of information. You're still going to have to find that. It's not going to do that for you. But once you have that information and you know where it goes in each of those little slots, it will put everything together in the perfect way. So make sure you're using the work style sheet that we have on our website, so you can know what you're looking for and what are the items that you need for each entry. Remember that they don't really have all the names here, right? It doesn't have a internet image. It doesn't really have encyclopedia, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it if you're looking for the right items. Now, I said earlier that we weren't going to go over the databases, and that's because the databases give you the citation already ready to go. So you don't actually need to come here and then insert that information one more time. You can just copy the information from the database and paste it into your final works cited in the right spot according to the alphabetical order. So I wouldn't, double up on work by taking that citation and then adding it here and then creating the works cited. Just copy and paste from the databases. Those are good to go. But if you have a website that you're using right now, unfortunately, you can't use all of our book resources, but this will be a great thing for once you're back here and using all those encyclopedias. So I'm going to stop here. This has gone on for a long time, but if you are trying to use this resource and you need some help, just let us know. Come up to our office hours and we'll work through it with you. I'm really excited about this, guys. This is going to be a big, big, big help for everyone. So play around with it a little bit, learn how to use it. All right, I hope to see you all soon. Bye.